Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Closing Bell here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Here to wrap up all of the action here after what was basically a nice little rebound day. Nothing major to report here. We had the Dow Jones up 1480. That's good for 20,663, and you can just see from the visual behind me, we got a range-bound market. Tomorrow is really going to be a potential catalyst for the markets. The non-farm payrolls and the employment report is all going to be out tomorrow. So jobs, more jobs. Watch the non-farm. Anything that comes in south of 200,000, you're going to see some potential volatility. As a matter of fact, taking a look at the S&P 500, range-bound, finished the day up 4.5 at 2357. The NASDAQ up 140 at 5419, staying above its 20-day moving average, but again, in this really tight range right now. The Russell 2000 still could not overtake its 20 or 50-day moving average, so you still have the bulls on their heels at this juncture. That's the weakest of all of the indices, even though it was the best performing and had the most ground to make up after yesterday's pullback. Up $12.28 at 1364. 1340 is going to be the level that you're going to want to watch on the Russell 2000. A drop at 1340 is going to put a challenge point down in this area, and we're looking at that lower support level coming in at 1300. Taking a look at volatility, it pulled back about almost 4%, 3.88%, down about 50 cents, but it held up in spite of the fact that we saw that the market started to move to the upside. Again, a lot of headline risk, a lot of data risk, and or potential reward dependent upon how you're positioned after it occurs. But right now, volatility is still muted, but it looks like it could be, it's staying above that 12.5, challenging that 13 level. That's always a critical level in this environment that I want to watch. I mean, yeah, it's amazing to think 15, 16 is a spike in implied volatility, but that's the kind of environment we're in right now. Dollar strength has been notable, but it's been consolidating for the last 6 sessions. And again, it's between its 20 and 50-day moving average. The dollar bulls right now don't have much as far as catalysts. We'll see if the employment report does that for tomorrow. With that strength in the dollar, we're not seeing that weigh on the commodity markets, and specifically crude. We see crude today finishing just off of its best levels, but retaking its 50-day moving average. The short-term bulls have taken control over the last 5 sessions. Now the intermediate-term bulls are starting to jump in. Let's see if it gets over that $52 level on the West Texas contract. Just has not been able to get over that level since basically the mid to beginning of March. The Treasury markets, prices pulled back, but not dramatically. We saw a very tight range in the 2-year, the 10-year, as well as the 30-year bonds. Now, what is that telling you at this juncture? All this is telling you is that with the Fed minutes out and crude prices bond prices still not pulling back. In other words, the yields are staying relatively low comparative to where they were basically about 2 weeks ago. The 10-year yield is still trading right around that 2.3% off of that 2.6% that we saw a few weeks ago. Even with the Fed coming out and saying, we're going to look at our balance sheet, we're going to make some moves, and yes, rates will be changing, and we still have rate hikes on the horizon, but they're also talking about how they're going to unwind their balance sheet, and it sounds like they're going to be a little more aggressive than what people were anticipating. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Bonds were down slightly today, but not as much as you would expect after that kind of news. All right, folks, we will be back online tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. We're going to be taking a look at the Asian markets. We'll start with the Nikkei and move through Asia, and then we'll jump into Europe and then the opening bell here in the U.S. 8:30 a.m. is when we're going to have all the employment data out, so we're going to watch all of that action very closely. Come here. Listen to what we have to say. We'll give you some transparency and a better perspective than what traditional media does here at MarketStream.live. See you then.